control the people. I mean, people are going to do whatever they want to do, but that business opening up has really caused the neighborhood to change drastically. So what I did myself and my son, I have a 15-year-old son, we went around within the neighborhood, quite a 15, 20-yard radius, and we got about 55 signatures from community members and homeowners and people in the neighborhood about what they see going on. If they could put their name down, if they could sign something and make a statement about what they see going on, or what would they like changed. I presented this petition. I actually still have it in my garage. But I presented the petition to Carl's office, and I said, "Listen, we have all these signatures, people in the neighborhood. You know, what can be done about that corner store?" The result was that about 3 months after that petition was sent in, with the help of Carl's office and Alex and I believe Jamal Bailey was still in the office at that time, but Jamal, moved on. The store was shut down. They shut down that corner store, and we had nice peace on that block for a good 6 months until the owner reopened the store under a different name, different everything, and back to square one. So, I mean, I don't want to go on and on and on. I'm just trying to say that, the neighborhood needs to be cleaned up. We need a speeding bump on the block of the cars go speeding down the street. My little 7-year-old afraid to go outside to roller skate because she doesn't know if these cars are gonna, speed up on the block and there'd be an accident or something. There's quite a few things. I mean, I can go on and on, but I don't want to take up all the time. But I know definitely, firsthand, I've seen the neighborhood change, and there needs to be some changes.
Okay. All right. That's good. Hello, Marlene. Okay, so we know that it has to be cleaned up. Definitely a neighborhood to be addressed to clean up. All right, Mr. Augusto, have you been able to address the sound issues? If you could talk, like maybe your computer, the sound on your computer is turned up, or okay.
Maybe he can call in. There's a way to call in, right? On the invite?
Yes, there is a phone number that you can call in on that page that was sent out that says to join the meeting.
I'm going to see if I find it, and I'll put it on the chat, Kenny.
Yes. Okay. All right. So that's what's happening as far as community needs. Now, what I thought about us exploring the community needs a little bit more is to, develop a kind of form, like a Google form, that we can present to the community. You have to develop the kind of questions that we want to ask. And this could be probably launched in about, I guess it could be launched around January, around the middle or the end of January. And it could go on until about March. And, where we could collect all the information, because, by March, you figure you'd have most of the information March or April. And then we can review that information in about May and present it to decide on, this is what the community needs. Now, they say about community needs so that we could figure out with the 501c3 just what things that we would want to do. Okay, because the thing about the 501c3 is that there are many things, there are grants around for the 501c3. There was recently a grant, I think it's actually still due in January, but there's a grant that is for Parks Department, and it was actually announced, it came out of HEC's office. It's a state grant that would give us money for parks. It's something that we could use to address an area of the park that wants to be dealt with as far as the car racing is concerned. But, like that's not in our district needs budget, so the things that are not in the district needs, could possibly be addressed through the 501c3. Okay, but the community did say, and members who were on that meeting at that time actually said that we probably need to do a community needs, so that's how, Beatrice, I want to say Beatrice was very implemental in getting Miss Katie Allen on board because she had contacted HEC's office and she contacted Senator Bailey's office to see what information they had where community needs was concerned. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm trying to wait to see about Mr. Augusto. Shaniqua Moore. Hi. Okay, so I mean, as far as the community needs, I mean, these forms would have to be presented at the board meetings or otherwise, unless, it could be a physical form that has the same questions on it, so just tell me, what do you think about doing a community needs us ourselves, really? Because I know that certain offices have already performed community needs, and we do have a list of sites that you can go to select the community needs. But I just wonder, when do we approach the people that comes to these meetings and say, what do you think the community needs? All right. So,
okay, I believe I'm on.
Oh, hi. Good. Thank you.
I could hear you all the time, but for some reason you couldn't hear me.
Okay, so this is Mr. Kenny Augusto. And tell me again, what is it that you do at Senator Bailey's office?
I'm his district director.
Uh-huh.
And we work on constituent concerns, and I represent them at meetings.
Okay.
And so forth.
Okay. And as far as district concerns, like what kind of concerns primarily, comes from the district members?
So we've been getting a lot of, housing. Housing's always been the housing's always been the number one case going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
so
housing, housing, like they need housing. Like, what about the homeowners? I mean, is it, apartment owners or homeowners?
Yeah, we have a lot of homeowners also, but we don't get as many calls as tenants.
Okay.
And of course, trying to access, SNAP benefits, especially since the COVID started.
Okay.
We've been dealing with those kind of call issues as well.
Okay. So housing. And I guess housing, as far as the rents, or there's not enough housing, like exactly.
Not enough housing.
Not enough housing.
Right. We have a lot of people in public housing that they inherit apartments and they're not on the family plan, and because there's no succession rights, then they found themselves being kicked out of housing.
Okay. Okay, but you say there's also about SNAP, because something was mentioned in the district needs to kind of restore that location to be a SNAP center. I mean, I think it is here. Yeah, it did ask to be restored as that. All right.
Right.
Okay. And as far as a 501c3, what do you know about 501c3s?
We've actually helped a number of people from the district start their 501c3 process. It's fairly straightforward. IRS.gov gives you your EIN number, your employee identification number. And that's the first step in starting it. You have to think about, you can set up as a group together informally and start working with each other. You pick a board, the body works together, and then they pick who's going to be the president, vice president, treasurer, secretary. You normally want to have a treasurer, and also you want to normally have two kinds of secretary. Like an assistant secretary or corresponding secretary, because the importance of taking notes and having an agenda ready, and also having the minutes available. The minutes records everything that's done for a meeting, every meeting has to have a reading of the minutes and approval or disapproval of the minutes. So everyone can agree that what was discussed in the prior meeting is recorded for the next meeting.
Right.
Once you have that in place, you try to have like a board set up where it's like an odd number.
Okay.
So you don't have any ties. And then you start working on your bylaws, the vision statement, the mission statement, the reason why you're doing the 501c3. There's many types of 501c's. You have C7, that's civic. You have C4s that can be a little political. C3 is the one that's not non-taxable. So, people that contribute funds to the organization it's tax deductible, but you also have to keep reporting, keeping your financials in order.
Right. Right.
Once that is done, then you can start picking a name out, a name of the organization that's agreed upon, and then you need to incorporate. So through the state of New York, there are various companies that does it, so you don't have to. A lot of people like to get lawyers, and that goes into the thousands.
Okay.
For for less than 1,000, you could definitely get a company to do it. The one that we use a couple, but the one that I've seen that's been pretty much straightforward has been Blumberg Experian.
Okay.
I think is as low as $400 or something, but it basically does a name search. They put your paperwork in through the state of New York. They incorporate the stuff that you're going to put in with the vision statement, like your bylaws and your other things. And then before you know it, then all of it has to go before the IRS. So then once you have your original letter EIN number, which you can get over the internet, irs.gov. Then once that goes back, everything happens, then you're incorporated.
Right. Now, do you know I'm just asking, about how much time does that take?
It could take 6 months.
Okay.
Because right now you have a lot of lag because of COVID, and a lot of people, there's no phone people picking up so much. Now everything is remote. But you can, once you have the EIN number, once you have the incorporation in, you can start working while your EIN is pending.
Right. That means that you can start searching grants and looking for grants if that's what you want to do for the beginning. Right? Okay.
Right.
All right.
But the whole point is that you have a name, that you're recognized by the state of New York, and then you have a number designated by the United States federal government.
Okay. All right. Now I see a question in the chat, and okay, it says, what kind of housing is of interest in the district? Are they talking affordable housing? Are they just talking about housing? Is there a financial category to what they're actually asking and looking for?
At this point, we get a lot of people that need housing, period. We have one in 3 children are in some kind of shelter, either in their family house or they're in the shelter system.
Okay.
So we have a lot of people that just need there's a lot of pushback when it comes to the FEPS program. Section 8 is like an aberration because you don't have a lot of people on it.
Yeah.
Housing, could be on an 8-year, 10-year waiting list.
Okay.
Senior housing, we're having a lot of new buildings go up in the neighborhood, particularly in the district, in Webster Avenue, and also on 233rd Street. You're having stuff go up, so people are eagerly waiting to see if they can get on those waiting lists. And Housing Connects is what we usually connect people to Housing Connects. So we usually have them sign up with New York City Housing Connect, and it's a process. But it's very frustrating when you can't find anything. And then you have a lot of those that are in Section 8. the money that they have available doesn't match what the people are selling. So it's just a whole process of connecting people to those real estate offices that can help you get an apartment.
Yeah. It seems like the neighborhood is really being flooded by a lot of developers who's coming in and who want to put up these buildings. And there's no, right now, is kind of difficult, you know, like, because just because housing is there, it doesn't mean that you are going to get in it. And it all depends on what kind of housing it is. You know, it's like, what kind of housing is it? You know, is it a housing that like has support services in case that's what you need? Or is it a housing where you can live independently, just has a beautiful place to live, you know? I see that Shaniqua Moore, if you're there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, can you speak a little bit? I'm excited. I am excited to see that you are available as a resource. So can you talk a little bit about what you do with nonprofits?
Absolutely. I'm just going to start my camera again. Sorry about that.
That's
I'm
okay.
actually trying to cook dinner at the same time. But so, hi, everyone. Good evening. So I run a consulting business, but I will do this free of charge for our community, where I teach people how to start their nonprofit from start to finish, from developing your mission, vision statement through corporation, through completing your EIN document, going through the 1023Z, inform, going through the Attorney General's office and making sure you have your charities exempt number, and then really building out the infrastructure of it, and from policies to bylaws to board of directors, all of that I do. I teach these classes. I've been teaching it for about 6 years now. And it's I do one-on-one as well as teaching it in a group. So I'm available as a resource. Anything that you need, any information, I can walk you through the process. I run a nonprofit myself, so I'm going into my 9th year of running it right here in our district. And that's sort of where I got a lot of my knowledge, just learning through going through a lot of these pains myself. And I'm just here as a resource. Anything you need, I'm here.
Okay, so let me ask you, what is the name of your nonprofit?
It's I Raise Girls and Boys. It's a nonprofit for young people.
Okay. Okay, and you said you've run that about 9 years.
Yep, going into the 9th year in 2021.
So I must ask this question. Are you on the board?
Yes.
Okay, so here we have another person. Yay! Yay, thank goodness. You see, we have all this talent sitting on the board. It's just a matter of getting to them and letting them know this is available, to get all the help that we can, you know. So what we want is assistance in helping the community, you know, because the district needs, that's one budget, okay? And it could say, you know, like, that doesn't necessarily meet everything. But I think that in a nonprofit, like, we can, we can go ahead and we can reach another level, of assistance for things in the community. Okay.
Absolutely.
Mr. Isaac, how are you?
Real well. Hi, everyone.
Do you have anything to say? I know you do. Mr. Burke said he's going to be a little silent in our meeting today. So it's you and me.
No, I mean, my focus with a nonprofit is that we need to protect ourselves against all these scrupulous developers. And even the other night, that meeting that we had with the developer that was developing that catering business, things just didn't add up to me, and we need to go after these people just like they're coming after us.
Okay.
And that's my biggest problem right now, that we're losing our community right before our eyes.
Yeah, and truly with a nonprofit, we could stabilize our community too, or we can contribute to stabilizing the community. And Dr. Burke will have something to say. We do have to contact the law department and let them know what is going on, because there is a process, you know, but we want to get the information now to contribute to when we do meet with the law department to say, well, this is the information that we do have. Dr. Burke?
Yes, I know I said I was going to be silent, and for the most part I am, but I think there are some interesting points that was raised that I want to ask a question and discuss. So first of all, welcome to everybody. I mean, I'm just so proud to see everybody at this meeting. And the nice thing about committee meetings is that I try to just shut up and listen, and that's what I've been trying to do this evening. But something that Mr. Augusto said that kind of sort of, has raised my profile, and I think our second vice chair just alluded to it, so I'm going to touch base on it right now. So part of the reason that, we were looking at this was to, protect the community board and the community from issues that I want to say is that Miss Allen, Miss Kadia Allen raised earlier. And so that was part of why we were looking at this. Now, some things have happened that have allowed us to switch our focus, which is great, and I don't want to divulge those at this committee meeting. But Mr. Augusto, I think one of the problems that I have, and by the way, welcome, is that we haven't seen anybody. I mean, this is the first time we've seen somebody from Senator Bailey's office in quite some time. We do not see anybody from Senator Bailey's office at our general board meetings. We do not see anybody from Speaker Hasey's office at our general board meetings. However, we do see representation from Assemblyman Denowitz. We do see representation from Senator Biaggi. And of course, we do see Councilman Cohen. And again, before Councilman King was expelled, we never saw him either, except unless he wanted something. So that's problematic in and of itself, that we see half of our district and we don't see the other half. That's the first thing. The second thing is that, as our second vice chair so explicitly said, in the fact that, we shouldn't have to protect ourselves. Now, there is a housing crunch that is going on. I mean, we acknowledge that. Hell, I did a presentation on it this past February, in which there is a shortage of housing. But the question then becomes, what type of housing are we talking about? And that's what I put in the chat. Simply because of the fact that, and yes, I understand that everybody and their mama wants to live up here in the Williamsbridge, Wakefield section of the Bronx. And again, we don't mind doing our fair share. But as Ms. Kay Allen mentioned earlier, what is happening is you have a lot of these unscrupulous developers coming in, and they're developing. Now, I've reached out to Senator Bailey numerous times regarding these topics. I've reached out to Speaker Hasty, as well as Councilman King. The only person that responded of those is none. I reached out to Congressman Engel, and of course, he at least tried to do something. And of course, we were stupid and voted him out, right? When he was trying to do something. So of course, when I reached out to him again, after we'd voted him out, then obviously, he doesn't have any interest, and I can't say that I blame him, but, at least he at least tried to do something in regards to this. So I guess my question to you is this, and again, this is not a housing meeting, but, I have to take the opportunity to address someone, since we never see you guys. What type of housing are you talking about? Because we're kind of sort of tired of this affordable housing, and we know that that's where the money is for these developers. How do we know? Because I was on a call with HPD earlier, actually not this month, last month, in which pretty much they were like, well, these developers, they don't want to do cooperative housing, or they don't want to do market rate housing, because of course there are millions upon millions of dollars in affordable housing. And quite frankly, we're tired of affordable housing. So what type of housing are you referring to that I guess the people want? And then the next question is, what type of housing can we provide? Because granted, we need housing, but we're kind of sort of tired of the type of housing that the developers want, because of course of issues that Ms. Kay Allen brought up, where she doesn't even want to bring her daughter out to roller skate. So I know that that's long-winded, but again, that's a scientist in me being pretty explicit in what I'm looking for. So if you could address that, I would appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Burke. And again, on behalf of the office, we apologize that we're sometimes spread out thin. But in terms of your questions, many times, the mayor would like to do mandatory inclusionary housing, and a lot of it, frankly, goes to the developers. The developers they want to build something with cheap materials, and then they want to charge what they want to run. They don't want to do 80/20s where it's supposed to be 80% truly affordable and 20 luxurious. A lot of them don't get on the state 202 and HDFCs where they're subsidized, and we're in a crisis right now. We have a lot of people that aren't able to get into these apartments, and we even have like the group of people that came from Puerto Rico from the hurricanes and the Virgin Islands that they were given vouchers, but the voucher value was lower than the rate of the apartment. So they become essentially useless. So we've been trying to get people together with different apartments. I hear you. I hear the frustration from the constituents. And I swear I hear yours as well. We have to have these developers be more accountable to the people, where the community has to have a bigger voice in what goes into the community. On the community board, the ULURP process, the land use process, the zoning, we got rezoned. A lot of the community boards were rezoned to accommodate these types of housing. We don't know if that is truly, representative of the people that are living in that community. So these are the questions that we always have to ask, but it's a daunting task, and we're trying to what I know that we want is truly affordable housing, that anyone that lives in our community, that lives and have schools, that work in our community, that are seniors, that they're able to get these apartments. A lot of the senior apartments, they wait 5 years and you have to be 62 to get in them. We've been working on freezing people's rents, working with New York City. And 80% of the traffic that comes to our state office is a city issue. So we take on these issues and we try to help people get on it by getting them on Housing Connect, by getting them, trying to get the people from getting, the constituents from getting taken out of their apartments through home base. And as you know, it's very, we have a right, we fought for the right to counsel so people can have a free attorney to fight, them leaving their homes or having to leave their homes. We don't have any, we've had people who are domestic violence survivors, and we have to choose an organization that, like Safe Horizons, that they help people relocate. So a lot of these things are things, but that we don't have nearly enough housing stock to match the need. And we're trying to always keep people from going to the shelter system. We have a lot of people that will qualify for one thing, but not for the other thing. Today I had a constituent who had an altercation over Thanksgiving with their parent, and they both got arrested, and now the baby and the person that was involved have to look for a new apartment, and they don't want to go into the shelter. And now with COVID, everything's been exacerbated. So it's a very frustrating situation, but truly that any housing that we always look at trying to get through the 202 programs and the other programs, we're trying to get truly affordable, because the word doesn't mean anything to these developers.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I think, and again, this is not a housing meeting, but as I said, I have to take advantage of someone from Senator Bailey's office when I get the opportunity. I think, you're absolutely right. And as I said before, so you're right in the rezoning effort. And, and again, doing some homework on my own, because in that same call that I had so as you probably know, I'm the new chair of Community Board 12. And so our district manager was nice enough to arrange a call for me to speak with HPD as well as Department of City Planning before the rest of the board. So I got to ask these burning questions that I had, and we were on the phone for about 2 or 3 hours. And so I was able to ask these questions. And so City Planning and HPD have promised to come to the board, and an invitation will be extended to all of our elected officials. So I'm just giving you a heads up that you know your office will be invited. But I think you hit the nail on the head, is that these developers know that there is such a shortage, and there is absolutely no money in these other programs. The money is in low income housing. I mean, that's what I was told. I mean, we already knew that before the city confirmed it. That's where the money is. So you look at people like Mark Stagg, you look at the people like Alan Bell, you look at the people like Kim Tasker, and all these other damn developers that are right up here in the 10467, 10469 area code, and that's exactly what they're doing. So there's a building right down here near the end of my block on Bronxwood and Tilden that is empty. And I know that, former Councilman King touted that, and that's the type of housing that we want. But for people like Stagg and Tasker and Bell, that's not where the money is. They can get 2.5 times the rental income from the city of New York, because, to your point, there's such a need for quote unquote low income housing. The drawback is that I now see dog poop all on these sidewalks. I see constituents like Miss Katie and Allen who can't even let her daughter go out because of the noise problems and all the stuff that these low income individuals bring in from these developers. And of course, these developers are out in Long Island, or they're out in New Jersey, or they're in Connecticut, or whatever the hell else they live. And of course, you, me, Miss Cornell, my first vice chair, and everybody else is stuck with the aftermath. So that's the problem that I have. I think another issue that came up, and this is what the second vice chair had mentioned as well, with the developers wanting to develop a storage unit, because that's the next big thing where they think the money is the storage units. One thing that we discovered during that conversation is that our elected official didn't even consult the community board when they were told that, oh, this is a great idea. So one of the things that I would like to see, and if you would please pass this on to Senator Bailey, and if you do here have the ear of Speaker Hasty as much, we would like more consultation with them, because as I said, we haven't seen, I can't even remember the last time Speaker Bailey, Senator Bailey had, the last time he was at a community board meeting was September of 2019. That was the last time I saw him or anybody. That's the last time I saw him at a community board meeting. I can't even remember the last time Speaker Hasty was at a community board meeting. And the last time the former councilman was at a community board meeting was in January of 2019. So as I said before, I don't have to worry about that with Councilman Cohen. I don't have to worry about that with Senator Biaggi. I don't have to worry about that with Assemblyman Denowitz, because I see them every single doggone meeting we have. So that's my only complaint. And I apologize to the first vice chair and the chair of this committee, Ms. Bennett, because I said I was going to be silent, but I had to take advantage of the opportunity that you were here. So my apologies to you, Algeria, but I had to say that. And so now I'm going to be quiet.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Burke, I will certainly take advantage of this and let my superiors know about your concerns. So and congratulations on your win, and you're absolutely right. You have to have a representation in the meetings. So I will definitely take back to my superiors.
And let me just step in. And that's why we're doing this nonprofit, because we feel like we're getting absolutely nothing from our elected officials. So I'm just going to call a ball and a strike a strike. So that's why we're doing this, because we need to be out in front in the community. And that's why my new members, God bless them. I'm looking at the new members that we've got in here, and I'm looking at Mr. Abdul, who is a second-year member. They rock, because they're coming in here doing the work that I think should be happening with our elected officials. And like I said, I'm pissed off, and you can hear it in my voice. So
no, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Mr. Burke. I also want to tell you,
Mr. Gusso, but I'm not. We're not. We're
I'm
not.
Sorry. I am so sorry, Dr. Burke. I'm so
that's
sorry.
Okay. The bottom line is we want to see and hear, and like I said, and communicate with our officials so that we can do better by our community going forward. And that's all I have to say.
Well, I just want to be able to let you know that I've worked for the senator for 4 years. And I worked for 9 years for his predecessor, Senator Ruth Hassel Thompson. And I know that I could tell you that when Senator Thompson was there, we had the funding from the state to give. and governor took that power from the Assembly and from the Senate. So right now, only the New York City Council has any way of giving any kinds of funds. But I could tell you that our office has always helped various organizations start up. And we actually helped, we had a financial literacy organization start up, 2 civic organizations start up. That happened in our office. Even with Ms. Lady Pamela Damon with SWAG, we were also helpful to them and what they're doing with our young women. So our office is not idle. I could tell you we're spread thin, and now that we're all working from our homes, it's even thinner. But we've been giving out food in our community. We've been giving out PPE, and that has not been an easy task. But I hear all your concerns. I am listening, and I will bring back to the office, and you have my word that we'll definitely be addressing these concerns. Anything that I could be helpful as well, I'm here to help.
Well, okay, so one, totally thank you, Mr. Augusto, for coming and taking the time to join in on this meeting. Just like I want to thank you, Ms. Katie and Allen, for joining in on this meeting, because as you can see, this is the first time that we, the board members, have had an opportunity, and we have a constituent here on this meeting too, an opportunity to really communicate to you and find out from you, like, what is the community asking for, just to see after all of this that we really are on the same page. We really are on the same page, and in order for us to move forward with this, I think that it would be good for you to have a representative to come to our meetings. We will get to the representative from Heasty's office, although Ms. Katie and Allen is here. And we have you now, and you can see by the attendance on this. This is just a committee meeting, and we have such a large attendance, because this process is a serious interest. It is an interest that we want to take on to really supplement what is asked for in the district needs, and we know that there are many needs that we can meet. All right. So with that, I want to know, is there anybody else who has questions? And I saw that Ms. Lucille Martin had made the comment that it's essential need into providing homeowners. We hear the whole thing about the housing. Now, we know with housing and homeowners, a lot of it is that these homes go into foreclosure. And when they go into foreclosure, that's one process. Then you get squatters, okay? You get persons that stay in the house for a long period of time and nothing is happening. The bank take over the homes, okay? And there's no taxes that's paid. There's no tax revenue that comes into the neighborhood. And there are homeowners who are in their house who's trying to stay in their home. Right. That's how the developers come in, because of their tax basis that happens with these homes, and they owe taxes. They have tax liens. They got water liens on their property. And the thing is that we have some homeowners who want to prevent that. It seems like homeowners, the voice is so quiet, but they do want to prevent that, So if we work together, and I mean the Bailey's office and Carl Heasty's office, we've just got to work together, to make these things happen. But like I'm saying, is there anybody else who has a...
I'd like to say something, Ajiria.
First, I want to thank Miss Beatrice Coronel, because if it wasn't for Miss Coronel, the two of you, Miss Katie and Allen and Mr. Kenny Augusto, probably would not be at this meeting right now. So I do want to thank you for reaching out.
Very welcome.
Getting them
Honestly,
here.
they were very willing. Thank you, Kenny and Kaden. You were both very willing to come and participate, hear what we're going through and share. So we're super thankful for that. And there's so many things ideas that we have. And, part of this is building a more supportive community. But I just wanted to also touch base on what you just said, Lucille, in terms of even like the home ownership situation and people losing their houses and going into foreclosure. But one of the beauties of starting a nonprofit is that maybe we can start, and we've spoken about this, like an educational component where we can even start giving home ownership courses, talking about tax breaks and all these different things. So I was inspired when you just said that. And I just wanted to thank you both again. Kenny, we didn't mean to give you the beat down, but thank you for taking it on behalf. So we're just frustrated, right? Like we're all seeing the changes. I've only been in this neighborhood for a little over 3 years. And in those 3 years, I've already seen the changes. And that was part of my drive to join this board, to come together with a group of people that really wanted to see change and make change. So we invite you to continue to come to these meetings, Kaden, Kenny, and if you can invite more folks, that would be super useful and helpful.
Okay.
Dr. Burke, I can continue to work to get more representatives to join us out there.
That's fine.
So definitely, and I want to just add that we've been working with NHS for a long time. They're off of Gun Hill Road. They've been doing weatherization for seniors housing. They've been also helping new first-time homeowners get subsidies by the federal government, even though this current outgoing president, thank God that he's leaving. That's my own comment. That's there hopefully with the new administration there'll be more funding for first-time homeowners where they actually provide grants for down payments and things of that nature. That's right in the neighborhood. We've been very supportive of them, and they've been working with different constituencies, and hopefully, and I could see if I could do to connect someone to the community board, and I'll bring it to your attention. Also, I will talk to, again, my superiors to assign someone regular to that, and if needed, then I definitely will reappear as well.
Okay, so anything else? Clinton, Mr. Mikey?
Robert.
What happened?
I'm here now. I was in the snow.
I know you were in the snow. That's okay. It's good. We'll make some snow angels out there in the snow, right? But anything that you have to say as far as the non-for-profit? I mean, has this helped in terms of understanding all the issues that are around? That's why we can really, when we talk to the law department, to explain to the law department that what we want to do is really just to enhance what is already on budget.
Right. I mean, this was very enlightening.
Okay.
I'm glad that everyone, Mr. Augusto and Katie and Alan, that they came and spoke to us in a little more layman's terms.
Right.
I needed that. I don't know about anybody else, but it was very informative.
Yes.
Thank
okay.
You.
And Mr. Isaac?
Yes, ma'am.
Any further comments on, was this helpful? I mean, just to see that it's real, that this thing about non-for-profits, like Shanique Moore said, that she has a non-for-profit in the community too, so, and there's just a small logistics about non-for-profits, but was this helpful in terms of seeing what the community also needs?
It was. I actually sit on the board of a couple of non-for-profit. But like I said, before I used to work in Westchester for the planning department in Westchester. And when I go around the different towns and enclaves and stuff, and I see what's going on up there and see how they're able to, like if they don't want something in their neighborhood, they don't get it. If they don't want a Starbucks, it's not there. If they don't want, like, I actually sent around an article because in Yonkers, I think FedEx or one of those or UPS, they were planning to expand, and the community said no. So what? It's not happening. It seems like in our neighborhood, when we say no, it turns out to be yes, because people go downtown to do whatever.
Yeah.
On the hand move, and we're left.
Okay. All right. Hussein?
You're right, John. You're absolutely right, John.
Yeah, I see it. I live it. I see it.
That's why we need to unite. And voices together, we could do this. It's just that I don't think we've been unified in a way to be able to fight in a powerful way.
Yes.
I was driving through Community Board 10 yesterday, and I was telling Maisha, I said, I see they're building houses over here, but they don't look like the same houses that they build.
Right.
Community Board 12. I said, they're not just thrown together. I said, they're actually nice houses. They're on residential blocks already, but I guess there may have been a lot of something, or somebody tore a house down or whatever. But the houses that they built, the quality is different of the house that they're built, the homes they're building over there as opposed to here. And I was like, why is that?
Well, it is
just because of Community Board 10. They're not going to allow it to come.
Yeah.
In our neighborhood, everything up here is a free for all right now. And
it has a lot to do with the taxes. It's like, what is the tax base of the neighborhood, the tax revenue, and that's going to take time. We got to take time to change that too, because it is tax revenue. I mean, we have to look at the dollars too, to say, how are the dollars structured in the neighborhood? Like, you can look at the census records to find out what that is. I'll go to Dr. Burke, and then I want to check with Hussein.
Jerry, I got one more comment.
Okay, yes.
I remember like about a year ago to 2 years ago, we voted against that. We don't want no more of these storage facilities in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And Mike is shaking his head. And here it is again. We're having a discussion. And I'm like, why are we going back against what we voted against? We know what it is. It's been doing to the quality. I remember back then they were talking about people living in those storage facilities and stuff like that. Before we accept a storage facility, I was thinking we should go around and do a survey and find out from those storage facilities how many open spaces they have in their facilities.
Well, we could also do that as far as the community needs. We could have another Google form that's just deal with the storage facilities to find out exactly what you said. And that is a good point. Like, if you're already a storage facility, how many spaces do you have? How many spaces do we need? And
I spoke to my neighbors. I spoke to my neighbors about having a catering facility around there by the bowling alley and stuff. They were like, who's going to go to art? Who's going to go? I actually felt that they were going to actually build it and then actually change the use to some other use. But I feel like they were like trying to, take advantage of us.
Let me comment on something that you said, John. So you said the key word. So two key things that you said. Clinton said this too about Community Board 10. I guarantee you that they have a very good relationship with their elected official. So think about what you heard. And Clinton, you missed the land use committee meeting the other night, and Marlene, you did as well. But what did you hear? I mean, if you guys picked up the same thing that Mr. Stricker and I picked up, what did you hear that guy say? Right? What did he say?
He said he went to Andy. Go ahead.
He went to Andy King.
Andy King. And he asked the question.
That it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Right. And Andy did not come. And you heard me tell Mr. Augusta, we hadn't seen Andy King at a community board meeting since January of 2019. And that's when he wanted something. Right. So I say all that to say that Andy told these guys that it was a good idea. And that's what they went with. Right. Because obviously it's a hell of a lot easier talking to him than it is talking to the body at large. Now, I'm going to say this, whoever this next council person is, whether it be Kevin, whether it be Pam, whether it be Neville, because I know that their names are the ones that are on the ballot. All I'm saying is whoever it is, and I told all three of them, I said, whichever one to get, you guys need to work with us. You know what I mean? And I know that Pam, being that she's a former community board member, will probably do that. I can't say that about Kevin and Neville, and even though I've worked with both of them, I don't know. All I'll say is this, whoever it is, we need to have an ear, and that's Carla. That's why you've got to get your committee, up and running. You and I'll talk about that this weekend, the legislative committee. But I think that it's absolutely critical because Andy sat there and told this guy that it's okay to build that facility. And it's just like, John, you told him that I said, there's no way in hell I would go eat over there. You know what I mean? And the problem is they come in, and as Clinton said, they will put up whatever the hell they want to put up in our neighborhood. And the thing is that, if you notice, that's why I fight tooth and nail, and that's maybe why I'm chair. I don't know, because you guys saw that I'm not one like some committee chairs have been to give up and give in to what the hell these people want. I make them work for every damn thing that they get. Now, we may have lost this B&B thing, but the bottom line is we sat there and drew that out an extra 2 years. So, and even now, I'm still not giving up until they put shovels in the ground, which they haven't done yet. So I say all that to say that you think about, and this is where the outreach comes in, Nigeria, I think, and this is something that I might have to talk with the new members offline, probably when I'm on vacation, right? So that may not be much of a vacation for me because, unfortunately, Sydney kind of sort of didn't do what I told her to do, and it got blown out of proportion. But there are people right now on White Plains Road that don't know two things. A, they don't know that we have free testing up here at the community board, and they had no idea that these developers were about to put in, what they're putting in back of 211th Street and so forth and so on. So this is where I'm looking forward to the new members and the outreach. Hussein, even though I know that you're second year, I kind of want you in with them because you've got some good ideas. So Beatrice, I'm gonna have you reach out to Hussein and bring him in on that. But we got to get on it. All right. So outreach is absolutely critical. So.
All right.
Dr.
Okay.
Bird, one more thing. In terms of communities, you just mentioned White Plains Road. We actually need to pay attention to what DOT is proposing for White Plains Road. It's going to change the character and the culture of White Plains Road, bike lanes and stuff like that. So those store owners and the business owners need to get involved with the changes that are going on in our community.
I agree. I think that's something that your committee, as well as Ms. Benitez's committee, need to be on top of, because that's, in my mind, I kind of sort of saw the initial proposal. I'm thinking that that's transportation and economic development, personally. And so, I'm trying to make certain that it's advantageous for us, whether it is or not, because if it's not, it's just like I told a white lady the other day, I'm not giving up any leverage if I can afford to. And Jerry, I'm sorry, this is your meeting, so I'm gonna shut the hell up and go on vacation. So
I mean,
No, Mike, she does that to me, so you need to do it back to her.
All right, thank you. I've been properly indoctrinated now. Like I said, so Hussein, let's hear from Hussein. This is the word of wisdom from our younger members, okay, who has a lot going on. Okay, so go ahead, Hussein, and make your comments.
I wouldn't say that much. I actually don't have much to say. I share a lot of the sentiments that everyone else has shared today. Really, the conversations we had were very much necessary. I don't know what else to say that hasn't already been said. So those are my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, I also want to get you on to communicate as far as the surveys are concerned that will come up in January. I just want to be clear because I think that you have a lot of input where that is concerned. You had concerns like the not-for-profit. We could provide some monies to restore certain things in the neighborhood, like the bike store that was burnt out. And also from the political view, just from your political, studying political science in school, and you could be involved. All right.
I'm definitely for it. Thank you.
Okay. Now I have a person on here, 9144, and the last 2 digits are 91. Can you tell me who that is?
Norbert. That's Norbert.
Okay, Norbert. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Can I make a comment or some question?
You certainly can.
Okay. The problem that we have, with the politicians, they are not standing up for us. They're only there for themselves. They only want us to vote for them.
Okay.
They're not standing up for our community.
Okay.
As Mr. Jana is talking about West Chester, where you used to work.
Yes.
Because that the politicians them stand up. You see, when we vote against things, they know where to go, and the politicians them undermine us.
Okay.
They undermine the system by telling us all the kind of story. That time they are the one who with the culprit, you call them. They just need our vote, and when they get our vote, then do all different types things against the community. They are the one who making all these decisions behind our back. So when those developments come to our meeting, it's a deal done. It's done already. We vote against it. We vote against a church. We vote against a church at Bartow Avenue. And what they do, they go downtown and they get it. Right now the church is there. They get it. They get it up here. So we need to let them know when time for to vote. And we need to stand up against those things. That's what we need to do. If not, they're going to continue to do the same thing and over again.
That's right. And that's how come Ms. Carla Barsati with the legislative community, we are going to be on top of our elected officials, because we do vote for them, but then we go to sleep and we forget, just because you vote for them doesn't mean they're going to walk the paths that you need them to walk. Is Mr.
Can I just say something really quick?
Yes. Who is this?
This is Kenny Agosto again.
Okay. Yes.
I just, and I appreciate all the comments that are being made, because you hire us, and Jamal's always said that his boss is the constituency. So I can only tell you, the staff members work very hard. The senator is chair of many committees, but he's the chair of the codes committee. And as you know, in criminal justice reform, we've changed a lot of different things over the last year, where we were able to get 50A passed to get the records of the police officers that do harm in our community. We've been doing bail reform. We've been doing discovery reform, speedy trial. These are things that we've lost people. We've had situations where we've had young people be chased by the police right into their own homes.
Right, I know.
Where you have a right to have your privacy, and that was invaded, because otherwise you would have to get a search warrant of things like that, and have their child die in cold blood.
Right.
We've had to help find people because of Facebook. Someone made a date with someone. I can't, release names, and I try to make it ambiguous to pronouns. But we've had people where the young person contacts another young person on Facebook, and they engaging in what comes natural, and they end up having an asthma attack.
Yeah.
And they die, and then the person leaves them, and they're there. And then we had to help people find people. We have people that were frauded out of their homes and their mortgage, and they signed their life away with their deeds of the apartment or their houses, and we actually helped someone stay there for 3 years.
Right.
And it took 37 letters from us.
Yeah.
And these are things that I just want you to know that I believe you just rehired Senator Jamal Bailey and Carl Hastie and the new congressman, and every 2 years we come up to contract. So you have a right to organize. You have a right to demand what Dr. Burke was saying, what you've been saying, what Beatrice's been saying, the gentleman that just spoke. We're here to represent you, and sometimes things get complicated, but I am definitely taking notes to let the senator know that these are the things that are concerning to the constituency, and that we're going to be part of that. But I don't want you in any way, shape, or form to believe that this senator sits on his laurels, because I could see him working 26 hours, if there was such a term. He works day and night for us. And because he's limited in what he can do in terms of distribution of funds, there's some funding that he's fought. The fact that we're having a YMCA being built after so many years, that's from efforts of the speaker and the senator. So these are things that these are the true works of things that we want to have public safety in our community. We need to have housing in our community. So I want you to know that our office is accountable, and that we, for the most part, we've been feeding many people. We've been helping people. We've been, and we're not here to say we help people. We're here to work with you, because the senator cannot do it by himself. We need you, the community, to be with us, working with us.
That's right. And, the truth is, it's a new day. Today is a new day. All right. It's a new day and it's a new way. All right. And this board is a board who rolls up their sleeves. This is no doubt that it's a board that rolls up their sleeves. And they really intend to make the community better. Now, it's going to take a while. It takes a while. Anything you got to clean up takes a while. It does take a while. But you can start. You start at one little corner. You start at another corner. You get one. Each one is going to teach one. That's what you got to do. We got to address the tax bases. We got to address the banks taking over the houses, and these houses being empty and available for the developers. They go in the back door. They go to find out which houses are available and which property is available. And that's through tax and lien records. That's at the county court. The tax and lien records are there. They're there at the county court. But I don't want to get into that as far as, where the passion is, because I know there's tax and lien records, because I have a copy of the tax lien records in my house, where you could look around and you could find the properties that's out there and that's available that people just walked away from, So I just want to say that, like Lucille had said, about us developing a resource guide. Yes, we can. All of this we can put on paper, but we got to have a plan. We got to take it out and put it into a plan. So I'm not going to say we're going to do it in the month of December, but come January, you're going to hear from me as far as anybody that has a plan for, how do we go about developing the resource guide, and who on the board have the resources. We can't develop that. We have to assign a person that's going to develop it. And Lucille's message several years ago, developing a list of resources. Yeah, these are all things that were started once before, but I think that the reason that they fell by the wayside, they didn't have a plan. You have to do a SWOT analysis almost everything that you've got to do. Now, how many people know what a SWOT analysis is? You have to analyze what the SWOT is. What is the strengths? What is the opportunities? What are the threats for you putting anything that's together? Okay, you got to put all of that together to find out. Now, that takes a time. And that's why I said with us developing these Google forms, it may be one and maybe two forms, because we may have to take into consideration what John Isaac said as far as interviewing and finding out from these storage units, like what kind of spaces do you have? There's no sense in opening a new storage space. I know they're all about the money, but we got to find out what kind of spaces do you have, So I was going to ask, is Kevin Eichelberg on the call? Kevin Eichelberg? Okay. Okay, no, he's not. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm thinking right now, as far as the next steps are concerned, I just would like to offer that, for January, I'm not going to be able to sit in this position as the chair of this committee. Okay, come January, I'm going to have to sit in the position, as the first vice chair, because of the work that has to be done. But I will be at the meetings, always there to support, always there 100%. But as far as the leadership and chair, I'm going to recommend a person to kind of take over as the chairperson of this committee. Okay? And if I could do that, I'd like to mention Ms. Beatrice Coronel. All right? And I'd like to mention Ms. Beatrice Coronel, because I can't tell you how many times Beatrice calls me after the meetings, in between the meetings. It'd be Sunday. She's on the phone with me on Sundays, and she is heavy. I said, oh, we got to get to the elected officials. She said, okay, I'll do that. And guess what? She comes up with 2 people that comes to the meeting just like that. Okay, so I'd say that people with energy like that is so important that we welcome them and we embrace them and we allow them to do what they do. Especially when we all on the same page. Like we know we got all these great information from Lucille and Shaniqua. I'm so glad you spoke up. Like, wow, you train people, you teach people in not-for-profits. Like, that's great. This is what we're looking for. So with that being said, I'm going to close out. And I think I want a motion. If anybody else has anything to say, is there any more to say regarding this committee?
Just want to wish everyone a happy holidays.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad to everybody. And and our number is 718 547 8854, 718 547 8854.
Yes, you are definitely going to hear from us, okay? So right now, I'd like for somebody to make a motion that we close the meeting.
I rise to make a motion that we close the meeting.
Okay. And someone will second it?
Second the motion, Jerome.
Okay. Okay, so I thank you. This meeting is officially closed at 7:17 p.m. I want to thank all of you so much for your contributions, for everything that you have put forward, for putting that energy out here. All that energy. I can't wait to get on the phone and call you.
You guys rock, man. It's really good.
Yes, man. I can't wait to get on that phone to call you to follow up on these ideas. Yes, definitely. Okay. And I hope to see you all at the board party that is taking place on Friday. I know Dr. Burke is going to be traveling. We'll be at the party and we'll be waving to him wherever he is traveling. Hopefully he's traveling very safely. I hope everybody is traveling safely. Kadian, I want to thank you so much. Kenny, I do want to thank you again. And Lucille, for all your contributions. Carla, Donna White. Donna White, that's even here. You came back to our meeting, and I know you have a lot to say, right? Okay, so
not today.
Not today. A lot of listening today, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I want to thank everybody for coming out, and you are going to hear from me. Don't be surprised. I like making these little tiny calls, I do make these tiny calls, just to check in, see how you doing. All right?
All right.
Okay, so long.
So long. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, guys.
Okay.
Travel safe, Dr. Burke. Travel safe.
Yes, travel safely.
Safe travels, Dr. Burke.
Congratulations, Miss Beatrice.
I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Everybody, be
Okay.
good.
Thank you, Clinton.
Bye.
Jerry, I'm going to call you.
I know.
In a few minutes.
Yes, definitely. Call me. All right. All right. So thank you, everybody.
Good night.